live now. There we go. Let's people file in. But what a nail biter. I thought we had pulled it off.
Yeah.
Man, that was something else. I guess people are gonna file in post game show here on TW. We got Cavalier Connection on, a little special guest. Here I'll let you do the intro. How about that?
Well, I'm Jeff from Cavalier Connection. Excited to join Locker Room Access tonight. Tough night. I was hoping joining you guys we'd be talking about a win, but yeah. So usually we have myself, Jay, and Jack when he's available. But Jay's up in Atlantic City for his son's dojo, so he may be joining us. I sent him the link,
Oh, great.
but yeah,
Yeah,
tough loss.
Fresh had to run out. But he said he'll be back shortly. And then Have had a volleyball thing. He may join as well, but for now it's just us. What? So after watching a game like this, I mean, we had a lot of opportunities here down the stretch. How do you like soak it in? Do you go back and watch it again? Do you just like walk away from the from the TV set, or what is your post game routine after a loss? A
Usually,
nail.
I don't go watch the whole game again. I do go back and look at moments, or when I know Virginia Sports, I guess tomorrow we'll have every offensive possession video type of deal. We do a little Mensor's moment on our show, and so I'm looking for something. There was plenty of those in this game tonight.
Yeah.
We've had some games where that's been tough to find. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of a glutton for punishment. A lot of times I'll go back and rewatch some of it and try to, but we usually jump on here and kind of talk it out and feel better afterwards. But
Right.
a lot of times I'll go back and watch it just out of curiosity. Because the second watch you usually catch things that you don't know,
Oh yeah.
that you don't recognize as easily in the first watch. But it's not like I'm on the team, but it's fun to kind of like
Right.
play with it. But it seemed like down the stretch that little switch that we did, that they were running with Kofi
Yes.
and Ames kind of hurt us. I think they scored
Yep.
6 in a row off that.
Yep.
Which is, we don't usually switch like that, at least for that long. It's kind of interesting. I don't know how much of that was on Kofi versus that was the design, but that definitely hurt us at the end there.
Yeah, and then Kofi a couple of those times he just didn't go down and double team or
Yeah.
get down there quick enough, and that's just a major mismatch there. So, what about that shot McNeely had, the three? Do you think he was in the act of shooting there?
I thought it looked like it. My wife thought it was called before that, when he was trying to get the ball. That was when they called it. So hard to tell. I mean, if
Right.
it was the second guy, then it looked like he was in the shooting motion.
Right.
But if they were saying they got him with the body as he was trying to get around to get the ball, then yeah, that would have been nice. Put it that
We
way.
said we thought if we got to 70, we'd be able to win the game, but unfortunately, 75 for Tech. That's tough. And then Buchanan being in foul trouble so quick, because he's really been playing well the last few games. So that's another tough. Foul trouble down with the bigs. Brody had a good second half. He just couldn't drop that last one to win the game.
Yeah, I was okay with it. He can hit that,
Yeah.
like him being aggressive, taking it just didn't fall. Like, you got to be okay with it. That'd have been something else if he would have hit it.
Oh,
But
I know. I know. Yeah. We
yeah,
need a half a second more for Buchanan to possibly tip the ball in, but just came up short tonight.
yeah, it's a tough one. And what about where we are this season? Like, obviously it's a tough one. This whole weird like interim season. We haven't had one in my memory. I don't remember an interim season like this. How have you looked at it? Are you like wondering, one eye with the coaching search, or are you like locked into this staff and this team and hoping
Yeah.
for the best?
I, I love Coach Sanchez, and of course I love those guys on that coaching staff, but you know, I think we've been a little more locked into the coaching search.
Yeah.
Um, I just want, I just know, I don't know. I love these guys and I love this team, the players on the team, but I just don't know if we can win playing this style. But Sanchez was put in a tough spot
Right.
and having that interim tag makes it tough as well.
Really tough.
You can't recruit as an interim coach either. Like, who's coming to not know who their coach is going to be?
Right.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm really not. I'm on the find a coach bandwagon, which I think that's most of Virginia
Seems like it.
fans. I know you guys, y'all are. What's your thoughts? You're a Sanchez. You're a Sanchez
Yeah.
guy.
And so my thing is, I feel like this staff is like everything that is right with college basketball. Everything that we
Mhm.
love about
Yep.
UVA is these guys. On the only thing they need is time to win, and that's the thing we're not willing to give them, because I
Mhm.
think they will adjust. I think
Mhm.
Sanchez will adjust, and he will be able to recruit. He's a great recruiter.
Mhm.
So like that's kind of the tough part, right? And
Right.
my biggest concern with, we have everything minus the time, right? Everybody
Mhm.
wants to win now, but you
Mhm.
go out, you get a quick fix, and like, what are we getting ourselves into at that point, right? Like,
Right.
you want to run fast, you want to play a different style, you want to recruit big dogs and get into NIL. There's a lot of cons that come with that stuff that I don't
Oh, it
think
is.
people are happy about. So like, I'd rather, zig when everyone zags, sink your toes in and say, hey, this is our crew, this is the style we care about. We are going to give them the time to
Mhm.
get better, and we're going to adjust. And they are young, and they're still trying to figure it out as a staff together. They're wrangling it through. That's just my opinion. And
Mhm.
I know, just because the unknown is so big, like, look, historically, we're not a powerhouse program.
Right.
Bennett created one, and
Mhm.
like, to not listen to him and continue his sort of journey, I think would be a mistake. That's all. But I get it. Everybody wants to win right now, and by any means necessary. I just don't know if we're ready to really go down that path, because I remember Pete Gillen and
Oh
in
yeah.
the late very well. And
Oh yeah.
it's kind of one of those things, right? Jeff Jones, we had a lot of 48, 44 games, and people hated it.
Mhm.
They wanted a run and gun style. They wanted a less discipline. So we brought in Pete, and then we hated it. And then we went to a more disciplined Leto, and that didn't and then he was, screaming at everybody, and that didn't go well. And then we got this
Right.
incredible Tony Bennett era, and we're ready to throw it out the window again for something like, a lot has changed. So, that's kind of the tough part.
It's tough. So the way that Coach Sanchez runs the basketball program is exactly what I love. It's just so unfortunate what college athletics have gotten to. And that's what,
It's
it doesn't make it fun, because even if Sanchez, if they kept Sanchez, how many guys are coming back? And I have no idea. I really thought they fought hard today. And I mean, just seeing the guys on the bench right there in crunch time, really into it and having a good time, which was pretty cool. You just don't know. Guys are in and out. Like, I don't know how many of these guys are going to stay with Sanchez if Sanchez got the job. If Sanchez doesn't get the job, I mean, you just don't know. You got to
right,
re-recruit your own players every year. You got
right.
to go out to the portal. You got to go recruit high school kids. Like, it's a brutal job.
It is. It is. It's a really tough job, and it's like a real turning point for Virginia basketball, right? Like, where you're known for this one thing for so long. Are you going to continue it? Are you going to like change it up and then see what happens? Because are you going to, make some big adjustments for NIL and embrace that? Or I don't know. It's a really, really interesting time in college athletics, and I'm curious to see how we sort of figure it out.
Yeah, and football. I mean, it looks like football is embracing the NIL life. So I don't know. Um,
Yeah,
Dang, you just hate to lose to Virginia Tech in anything.
it's so true, and we had
Yeah,
it right there.
we
You know,
did.
we hung tight, and we fought back, like you said. Those are great signs there. Like, the guys aren't giving up and hanging up the towel. They're fighting all the way to the end, and we almost pulled it through. It'd have been nice to get that one. I'm not gonna
I
lie.
know. And we're battling trying to get in that ACC tournament, and with Virginia Tech being right down there with us. So I was just going to pull up I was looking at the standings now. What are we? We're 14th. I don't know. Did you see the end of that Boston College?
I did. That was insane.
It was. I had to watch it on a highlight. I didn't even realize that had happened because I flipped it over to ESPN Plus to watch the start of the Virginia game. It's like, holy cow! I can't believe how that ended.
Yeah, I was waiting for the Virginia game, and I caught the end of it. That's all. I was like, "What in the world is going on?" Obviously, I just wanted it to end, but I was like, "Holy cow!" It's one of those, you never know what's going to happen at the end of these games.
Yeah, and then after seeing how that happened, I was like, "Oh, Virginia, we still got a shot." I just watched it in the Boston College game. Donald Hand Jr. I think had 29 in that game.
Yeah, unbelievable.
But yeah. So
another. So what do you think? What do you think about this? Like in terms of what's going to happen down the? I haven't really kept up with all the coaching stuff. What do you think is a general consensus on what people want next? And not that it matters so much for what the stat. I mean, the Carla's going to do, but I'm just curious. What do you think the consensus is? Like a Shaka Smart style, or?
Well, you kind of said it best earlier, and this is how it is, and it feels like in the NFL as well, or in college football, everybody clamors for whatever the opposite is of what you currently were. So,
Right.
I think folks want to see offense next.
Yeah.
And like you said, Jeff Jones games were ugly. I remember them 35% shooting, and just tough defense. And then we went to Gillen, and Gillen started out hot, and then he got one of those like 10-year contracts, and then it kind of it fell to pieces. And like you said, so I think people are clamoring for offense, but I mean it's very true what you said. It's be careful what you wish for.
Why isn't Sanchez playing Sharma? Sharma is coming off. He's sick, so Fresh was just there last week, and he was really sick, like flu, full body ache. So I'm pretty sure he's battling through that, and it's a tough season this year with the flu. I know, not an excuse, but like same when they're out here in California, a bunch of the guys were laid out, coaches too, with the flu, and just a part of basketball. Like you always hear the flu bug goes through the teams. Sometimes it happens in March, and it's kind of like nobody cares. We have to play and get the out.
I feel like in the years when we were ranked, up in that really high, I felt like we had the bad luck of our injuries and the flus and all that would be right at tournament time.
Right, it happened all the time.
Oh yeah,
there was a while there, even under TB at the beginning, where we were just getting injuries at the end of the season. Remember, like Mike Scott, and then it was
Justin Anderson.
Yeah, Justin. Joe Akil turned his ankle.
Yep.
Like it's just one after another in March, and we kind of like obviously fought through that.
Yep.
Not
what's
really.
Up, Fresh?
There he is.
Jeff, what's up, dude? How you doing?
Good. How are you?
You didn't go to the game?
I wore this jersey for you. I was sure you'd have a jersey on here tonight.
No, man, I'm cold. I've been sick. I heard you talking about Sharma being sick. He definitely gave it to me, but that's okay. I'll take it from him. Yeah, I'm not doing it, so I'm not gonna keep my all my clothes on these days.
Oh yeah.
It's cold up here.
Well, I'm sure it is.
Donnie is saying Ryan Odom. I don't know what the interest level with him, but that's kind of interesting.
The new coach?
I don't know.
That's a name that they keep bringing up. I guess with the connection from his dad coaching at Virginia too, with Terry Holland.
Yeah, he coached Coach Holland. He Coach Odom left the year I came in to go to Wake Forest.
Okay.
And Ryan used to be one of the ball boys. I didn't realize he's like 50 years old. I thought he was like 27 right now.
Oh dang.
I knew him when he was whatever that would make him back then. So
wow, I guess it's crazy.
Was it the VCU game last week where the fight broke out? Is that where that was?
Yeah, and
in the stands.
At St. Louis, right? Was it VCU?
Yeah, I think it was.
At St. Louis. I guess VCU has a player who transferred from St. Louis.
Oh, okay.
It was a story I heard. That family supposedly was getting shit or giving shit. I don't know which way. I had no way to know. So They got to protect when they have family there. Like, there's got to be some kind of like no fly zone,
right?
You know.
Right.
No, it's fun. It's fun. I say let it fly, man. Just go crazy. It's such a rare opportunity to have passion and energy. Like, just let it fly, man. I love it.
I'm a Commander fan, and watching all the videos of them dang Eagle fans after the game on Sunday, they let it fly.
Well,
William said we're missing Saunders. By the way, our dudes are stepping up, but we miss absolutely. Saunders is really good on both ends, and he's a big presence down there. I don't think the dude, what's his name, Lawal.
Lawal. He was good. He's a VCU transfer. Did you know that?
I did not.
I looked him up. He was really good today.
Yeah, he was good. They said he has a 49 vertical. Man, 6'8".
There's no chance. No,
49.
No chance. Like 49. 40. I don't know.
Yeah, and that shoot made he only made 4 threes. I felt like everything he threw up was going in. He's not a big guy, but yeah.
So what do we think? Like, we couldn't stop them. Obviously, that was a tough one. What do we take away from a game like this? I'm gonna let you start fresh. Like, you're right there.
Yeah,
you're right there. Obviously there were some issues, but they put up 75. It's not a good sign. But we also at the same time had a chance to win. So like,
yeah, I mean, that's what happens. You can't let that lead go that way, right? And then have to will yourself back in the game. Like we say, London Prentice isn't on the floor anymore, who was so good at that. But the kid, they fought, man. They did everything they could, made free throws. I know we missed a couple. We're gonna probably harp on that, but that's okay. But get it right down. We closed the game in kind of a perfect way if you're playing from behind. If that makes any sense. So I hate to say it's good practice for it, but it's just like not letting those little things that happen. I think a lot of times, I don't want to pick on anybody. Like Kofi was on the ball, and in his mind he should be back on his guy, so he leaves the ball and the guy shoots a 3, right? And that's an easy lesson. The ball is the most important thing. Now, if Day or somebody's grabbing you and say, I got him, that's different. But a couple of those things, and they definitely hit a lot of threes. And that was glaring. I guess our defense wasn't great that we're used to, but I don't know. Mike Young, he's supposedly a mastermind on the offensive end. And they did look pretty good. But this clawing back the way we did, and still at the end, having a great roadie drive. It was a really, really, really tough shot he got himself into. But that's not his fault.
Yeah, I was going to say I'm happy with that shot because he makes that a lot. He makes that, I think halftime.
It's a weird one. Back to the backboard and that stuff. So,
and with his size too, at Roadie's 6'6", so he can get that shot up. That was a pretty good look, I thought, for that situation.
I mean, you look down the roster. We had Kofi was 1 for 6. He definitely missed a couple that he normally makes. He had a free throw jumper. Day had 11. IMAC had 19. Tane had 10. 4 for 8 for Tane. TJ Powers didn't do. He was 0 for 1. A-Rob had 6. Rhodey was 4 for 11 for 12, and Sharma was 3 for 5 for 8 points.
Rhodey. I wonder how many did McNeely have in the second half? Because I feel like he finished with 19.
Yeah, 19.
Yeah. Maybe some of those foul shots down the stretch. It just seemed like they were locked up on him. And then Rhodey came in the second half because I don't think he scored in the first half and got all 12 in the second half.
That's right.
He got all 12 in the second. Yeah, it's a bummer. We had that one. Yeah, that's one.
Day had some great moments and then a couple not so great ones.
Yep.
But all the collective grit and fight. Day made some big plays, rebounds, and whatever. But the collective group fighting that way. And I've said it, Jeff, all this year. We have a lot of great pieces. We just haven't figured out how to put them all together at the same time, at the right time, type thing. We can, question that Sharma wasn't in, but I don't really know what that's worth.
I wonder if that Worley transfer, I think it may have been a big deal. We've just had for so many years now that point guard it's just been, between having Beekman and Ty and Parantes, it's always been that go-to guy who can really, distribute the ball and can go score you a basket. And I think that's what's missing here. And I think that the fill-ins have done. They've actually started doing all right, but we just don't have the guy.
Right.
And
TW, I always call it like in the ACC. You've seen it all through the year. Everybody has a lead guard. We call it point guard back in the day, but now I think it's like a lead guard. We can go through all the guys, but every ACC team seems to have one. We are kind of missing that. Like, where do you go when it's time to go?
Yeah, and we haven't had that really. Post championship run. I know Reese kind of came into it in his last year, but Kihei, everybody griped about Kihei not having the ability to finish but he was also really good down the stretch. But like lead guard that really took over the ball game at the end, we haven't had one in a while.
Right.
Reese was kind of it at the end, but like that doesn't seem like his natural role. But like London and Malcolm and Ty, like those guys wanted the ball at the end.
Oh yeah.
And they took over the game and like, since.
And there was also no question about where it was going, right?
Right.
You knew where it was going with all those guys in those situations.
Maybe Chance Mallory is that guy, but maybe he's probably not going to come now. But it's a damn shame.
No, he's at Tennessee today.
Yeah, he's at Tennessee. I mean, we had him on the podcast, and when I talked to him afterwards, and he was just like, "Yeah, man, I love UVA. If they're not committed to Ron, Coach Sanchez, then I can't. Like, it doesn't make sense for me to commit either. Like,
I get that.
So like he was really disappointed because he was like, "That's home. I want to play for UVA, but if they can't figure it out, it just not to say he won't like transfer back in or something, but that seems like a shame." But
how many guys do you think? I mean, this is way too early, I guess, to ask this, but how many guys do you think would come back, or do you know the mood of the team, or
how many will actually stay? You mean?
Yeah, will stay. I'm sorry. Yeah.
I think it all depends
on Sanchez. Either way, if Sanchez stays, and then if Sanchez were to leave, or I guess that's kind of depending on who would come in. But if Sanchez were to stay, are these guys happy?
If Sanchez stays, I think a few will leave for sure. But I think like Rhodey, I don't know, IMAC. What's your take on IMAC, Fresh? I think a lot of them will be 50-50.
I think IMAC stays. I think what the players are not happy about is not having any direction. And it's like it's their season, right? And you call Ron the interim and all this. I don't like any of that part. Call him the coach. I would have given him 3 years. It doesn't matter. Maybe he's doing a terrible job. I don't think he is doing a terrible job. But the dynamic of a team would be a lot different and clarity. Yep. And, you're talking to the guys. You're having a better idea. I talk to the coaches down there, and it's like they can't – they're what are they – they're going to ruin their reputation by telling guys, oh, everything's fine, or come to Virginia. Well, they can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We don't have liars. For better or for worse,
it's a really tough space. Like we talked about it earlier. If you're a player and you're came TB and you're really disappointed TB left, and now you've got Ron Sanchez and like things aren't going well, you're like, well, you're not even going to be here next year, so why should I? Like That's probably the attitude, right? Like it's so easy to bail when you've got that interim tag and things aren't going well. It's just so easy to sort of wander your eye off and be like, you know what? I'm going to go home and look for another opportunity. If they had paid Ron and gave him a big thing, gave him a huge vote of confidence, then I think the players would as well, right? Because you naturally would be like, oh, wait. If I want to stay here, Ron's the guy I need to be, I need to listen to him. He's my boss, which is when you throw the interim tag, it's easy to be like, yo, who are you? Like, you don't know what you're doing. Otherwise, you'd have been hired, which makes it hard.
It seems obvious to me.
Yeah. So they definitely put him in a really tough spot, but hopefully he can turn it around. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what Carla's going to do, truthfully. So we'll see.
And then Elijah, I know I saw somebody said something about Elijah Gertrude. So that's another big loss to this team too, not being able to have him this year. That's that playmaker that we could have had.
Oh,
And,
Don't get fresh started on that. He loves Elijah, so
I know he does. I like him too. I wanted him to get some run last year, and it just didn't really happen. And then unfortunate accident that sucks.
what is your take on this? The pack line doesn't work anymore. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
You asking me?
Yeah, either one of you. You start first, Jeff. What do you think? There's some truth to that.
I just don't know. It's not Tony Bennett coaching it right now, and I know Coach Sanchez, of course, is well versed in the pack line, but I don't know. I guess the players have to execute it.
Right.
I would, I'm definitely not an X's and O's guy. So, but if it's not working during the games, I would try something different. I know we've done some zone this year, but I don't know. Fresh, you could talk to better than me.
Yeah, I think the pack line is really hard for the bigs, in my opinion. Not very hard for guards who know how to play. That's just my opinion. If you're semi well versed on defense coming out of high school, but the thing is, the line went further back, right? Would it move by 3 feet? Is that
I don't know
3-point line when it got deeper, 3.5 feet, whatever. So offense adjusts to it. Players, you could shoot from wherever you want. You see it in the NBA, Porzingis shooting from like 40 feet away routinely, and these college guys all adjusted to it. So now the pack line, getting back out to shooters, it's 3 feet further.
Yeah, further to return.
And now the way everybody, works on their shot and wants to be a 3-point shooter, and they, quite frankly, almost a lot are. It expands that range of what you have to pack line and back out. So my biggest gripe with pack line is kind of like not giving our bigs. It doesn't appear that our bigs have a choice as to when to hard hedge and not hard hedge, or being very strict on when to double team the post. And I think everybody's not Akeel Mitchell, so I think guys get confused.
Yeah.
And you saw like Kofi leaving the ball, or different guys leaving guys. Who did we play last game? Did we win last game?
Miami.
We're like the Miami guys under the basket being defended, let's call it by Blake, right? And a guy comes to double team him at point blank range, and his guy's wide open. He dumps it off like this.
Yep.
We don't seem to be agile in our thinking. I get it, because they're probably harping on it and explaining like the rules of it and the whole thing. But really good players adjust and kind of change. Like TW remembers, we talked to Devin Hall about it when they were like, "Oh, it's all the pack line and defense." Devin said, frankly, you have to learn to cheat it. Yeah. And that's high intelligence. It's not high intelligence, but that's how we played. Like imagine me trying to guard ACC guys in the 90s, but you knew when to cheat, like when you could have to go, not have to go, and be a little smarter. So I just don't think that this team yet has that sort of feel, and they're more rigid in following rules. The way I watch it.
Well, Kofi's so young. I mean, it's his first year, so it has appeared throughout even Coach Bennett's time. It just takes some of these guys, when it's your first year running this, longer to grasp the defense. And guys would just be sitting, and guys we thought would be playing, and we'd be saying they must not be grasping the defense, in practice. But Coach Sanchez, he doesn't really have any choice but to play some of these guys.
Right. What about the philosophy of like, hey, we're going to slow down the game, minimize possessions, neutralize talent by, running our offense for longer and then wearing them down on both ends of the court? Do you think that's a style that can continue to work given today's transfer portal world?
So it's funny you asked that. So my son Jack, he's actually at the Tech game right now. Last week he's the one that asked that question. It was on X. He kind of, he's 18, so this is kind of new stuff for him, and so he didn't really ask the question exactly how he was trying to ask it to start it, because Kofi scored 17 in that game against Notre Dame, but he was saying, was there any issue with Kofi because he was passing up on some wide open opportunities.
Yeah.
And Coach Sanchez said, "Well, that's part of the offense. We got to run it,
Right.
and not take the first." And so there was a lot of pushback on that. And I don't know if that works in the NIL world. Guys want to score and go up and down the court a little more free. I mean, Kofi was having a good game, and I understand what Jack was trying to say. There was a couple of times. I mean, he double pumped on a wide open three. It's like, I can't shoot this, and then we'll pass it off.
Yeah, that to me is Jack's. I saw it. I was at the game and I watched, and he caught it in the entire arena like breeze, like nobody's within 5 feet of you or whatever it is, and you saw him think and like, I want to shoot it, but then he followed the rules. It's like anything, man. It's personnel, right? If these things were, when you say tire them out offensively and defensively, that's personnel, man. And we've had studs, and this team's. I think it's a lot of pieces, a lot of really, really good pieces, but just putting that whole thing together kind of hasn't happened.
I mean, I've always wondered what would happen if this like TB style, whatever you want to call it, the pack line style, had a real like run of athletes like McDonald, like Duke level athletes playing that style. It would be incredible to watch. But it's like the catch-22. Those style of players are not going to want to play this pack line style because like you neutralize talent on both sides, on your own team and the other team, right? And then it's about execution. Right. So it's kind of a shame. I would love to see a team with incredible athletes running the pack line and trying to stop that. I just don't know if you could convince kids to do it.
Yeah, I know that's hard. I can only imagine what. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Fresh.
I'm just Lynn. Nice compliment there.
Oh yeah,
appreciate you guys very much.
Yeah. Guys like
somebody just come after us, TW.
We need two to rip into us.
We thought two. We were trying to get two to come on to the Cavalier Connection. Hasn't worked out yet.
If you do it, you gotta tell everybody. You gotta blast it out.
Oh, it's
not going to happen, but that's okay.
Yeah,
he says he was thinking hard about it and they're debating it out, but it hasn't come to fruition yet.
No, I appreciate that he just loves UVA basketball and UVA sports, regardless of how crazy some of his tweets are, how out of pocket he can be. The passion is there and the love for the team is there. So I appreciate that regardless.
And he knows the football team. I want to find out where in the world. I'm 90% sure he's from New York City. I'd say I'm 100% sure, and has some ties in TWA. This is all my guess, but I'm old and I'm smart as shit now, so I know these things. I just want to figure out, when did he just get so grounded in Virginia, or did he just put a map and to throw a dart and say, all right, I'm going to follow the University of Virginia sports? Because he knows football.
Yeah.
He talks about the transfers and my people and this, he's got something for you.
You're right.
I really thought you knew him, Fresh. And I was like, maybe they know each other from New York. So you don't know him.
I might. I actually, I've been here since in and out, but since 1993, and I used to play in all these leagues and things like that. And I'll bet you he was around. He always talks about he just says things that sounds like he may have been around. I played in like some Reebok leagues and Nike Pro-Ams and da-da-da. So he's, back in the day, there were all these scouts around New York, which was funny. And he would have been younger, but even old school guys. And like this guy got me to go to the Trenton Flames. And he literally had his pencil and a sheet of paper. And if he was 70, he was 400. I don't know how old. But a great guy. He knew basketball. I got a team for you, Trenton Flames. And so I played while I had a full-time job. But there were a bunch of old school guys like that in New York that just followed and loved hoops, man.
Yeah, he seems to have I don't know, some kind of inside source for football for sure.
Yeah, he doesn't. I don't know much about football, but
I think Mark said he met him once. Mark said he met him one time.
I think Mark. I think he showed up when Ty was doing AAU and stuff, or maybe Kobe, or maybe both, and he'd be around. So I think Mark knows him better than any of us. Except
Yeah,
for
so
me, I
he's
know
a
him really
really-
well on Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter. He's hilarious. He's hilarious on Twitter.
Oh,
He
yeah.
had a
I
great
know
one today on Twitter.
who's got next. At one point, I was like, I like this guy. He's great for drumming up, drama, but he's really like pissing a lot of people off. And then, and two just stepped away from our forum back in the day. But he was really. That's how I got to know him. I saw him on the forum every day, going crazy, and I thought it was hilarious. Like all of us thought it was hilarious, but I think at some point he was driving people away, and then he just said, "I'm going to take my interest to Twitter," and that's where he is.
But it's funny because I'm going to guess Kevin, who's got next, has never met Two Guard. I can't speak for him, but I'm pretty sure that's true. But back in the day when Two Guard would post, he would always say, this is HGN's forum, not mine. It's his site, not mine. He was always kind of sneaky respectful, and then he would just go boom, boom on Coach Bennett or something. So.
Yeah, he was wild. Liz has been following since '87. That's awesome.
Good
I think
following.
the people that have the history with UVA are probably the ones, similar to how I feel about it, are more hesitant to be like, oh, we really want to go down this path again of like, we had something so great, and but we'll see. Like the shiny new thing rarely turns out to be what saves any program. Like everybody goes after the Florida Gulf Coast and that, and then you see where that's panned out. He's the one had 3 or 4 jobs since then, so you just don't know, right? Like I hope we're not waiting till March and gonna try to pick some Sweet 16 upset, but we'll see how this is Carla's big hire, so let's see what happens.
Sure.
Fingers crossed for the staff.
Yeah. Dang.
And then, so, Jeff, tell us about your Cavalier connection. When you guys go live, where people can find you.
So yeah, normally we're a little bit all over the map. We put something out twice a week. Normally Tuesdays and Thursdays, depending on the situation. If we get a athlete on to interview, then we'll record and post it the wext day. We'll put it out on Twitter and Facebook, and I guess it pops up on YouTube when stuff's coming out. They can follow us at the Cavalier Connection on YouTube or at Talk UVA Sports on Twitter. But yeah, that's kind of what we're just diehard Virginia fans who've
love it.
We started doing this back a year and a couple months ago, and it's a little therapy for basketball and football, especially for us. And Jay and I, who is on the show, we've known each other our whole lives, and we used to go to all the football games. And and we had Dougie Fresh on. If you didn't see it,
amazing.
And it was great.
I was in rare form, TW. I was fired up for that one.
No, that was great.
Fired up. It was good, and but we've been able to have several guys from Fresh's tenure and era.
Yeah, I mean, you had Jeff Jones. By the way, I don't know how many people know this because he won't tell anybody. Jeff Jones is being inducted to the American University Hall of Fame tonight.
Oh wow!
In DC. Yeah, I knew about it because I was in Charlottesville. GL told me, TW and Lisa, and then long story short, JJ called me yesterday about something random, and I was like, "So what are you up to today, JJ?" He's like, "We're just driving to DC." I'm like, "Oh yeah, what are you doing in DC?" And he's like, Americans doing it. And his wife's like, American Hall of Fame. I'm like, Coach Jones, that's awesome. I already knew it, but I knew you didn't want to, hear about it. So,
no, that's great. Coach Jones is a legend. I mean, regardless, I know he feels a certain way about UVA, but, player and coach and all he did, amazing stuff.
He was great. I always say when we get these guys on, I'm like a kid at Christmas. Because Fresh's era was our childhood, and I mean, well, he's not that much older than me, but we
whoa, man.
But yeah, Coach Jones, that was a thrill to be able to talk to him. So we've had Junior.
Jeff, was it you or Jay whose favorite player is karate?
That's mine.
That's yours, right?
Yeah, I'm a karate guy.
Isn't that great?
Yeah,
Jack,
we went.
go ahead.
Now I was going to say we did the same during COVID when we started it. Fresh and we went down the entire UVA Rolodex. I think we got we got Crotty.
Yeah, we did good.
Roger Mason. We went down at Ted. We went down all of them.
That's awesome.
It was definitely bucket list material to go and talk to them. So everyone should go listen to those. They're amazing people, amazing stories. UVA history runs deep. So
we had, what did we do? A 2-part 3-hour with Brian Stitt?
Yeah. And Jeff
Coach
Jones
was over 2 hours. And he was like, let me know.
AJ.
He says TW, let me know if I'm talking too much. So TW was like, no, keep talking, keep talking.
Right.
Yeah, amazing. Jamal, we did like 3 with Jamal. Did
redo.
We also got Courtney Alexander, the infamous Courtney Alexander, but that did not make it into the airwaves, but we did it. That did not make it. We had to kill that one. I owe him a call if you're out there, Courtney. I'm gonna call.
Yeah, we reached out to a bunch. Obviously I don't have the Rolodex, so but I reached out to a bunch of some of those same guys, hoping to catch somebody. I texted with Bryant Stith, and he had said he would come on, but then it's just I know it's busy, coaching and that whole thing.
Yeah,
so
he's
just
busy.
trying to find time.
Keith Jennifer.
Yeah.
We got to get Keith Jennifer. He commits and then we never get a time down. I think he's committed like 3 times now. He's great though. But yeah, who are some other ones?
We did Travis Watson from Italy, right?
Yeah, that was amazing.
And he was in Italy at the time. So I sat with him at the game for a little while last Saturday. So.
Our white whale is Ralph. We have not gotten him.
Oh gosh. I saw he was on with Radcliffe this past week.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
I mean, he has his own podcast, so it's not quite as interesting because his voice is out there a lot. So I don't think we even reached out. We're just like, we'll just leave that one as a. Well, Jimmy Miller, Gus Gerard was amazing.
Gus was amazing.
You should get Gus Gerard. Yeah, that was one of the best ones we ever did. You guys should definitely reach out to him on Facebook. He'll do it in a heartbeat. He's super nice.
Okay.
And you know who else was really cool for me was Jerome.
Jerome Mansay was great.
He was unbelievable. What a cool guy and well-traveled.
Loved him. Akil. I mean, we got very, very lucky over COVID and just knocked them all out. We did London and Trey and Sam Hauser, and we just did everyone. Like it was ridiculous. I need to go find them all and repost them on social.
Yeah, but you guys, Jeff, I told you, the reason I shamelessly DM'd you or called you or whatever is because everybody talks about how good you guys' show is, which is cool.
Yeah, it's great.
We appreciate it, and I know you said you shamelessly DM'd, but we were. I was thrilled to get you on. When we first started, I don't half know what I'm doing anyway. So I was thrilled for a ex-player to send me a message. I told Jay, I said, dang, guess what? I'm texting with. In fact, when I get texts from some of these guys, I said, I'm texting with and Dougie Fresh or Junior Burrow or Bryant Stiff. But we said if our 15-year-old selves would have said that 30 years from now, we're texting with these guys.
I mean, I think if your 15-year-old self said we're going to be talking to people through messages on a cell phone, you'd be first of all, what the
right,
and then so anyhow.
No, Jeff, I told this story before when I was in Burley Middle School in Charlottesville. Hav and Fresh and Sean Wilson came to my middle school with me and Kevin Rines and Rogers and shot hoops with us for 30 minutes, and it was
oh man,
it was literally we talked about it probably for 20 years, and then to get to know him now and talk to him all the time it's a blessing.
That's unbelievable. Yeah,
it is. It's full circle.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah.
No, yeah. Let us know. We're down to
You're
help.
Probably just skipping class for the record, but that's okay. I love doing it.
If you need help with anything, by all means, reach out. we see the passion and the joy, and we just love it, regardless.
Yeah, we
It's awesome.
appreciate it.
Yeah,
And we'd love to
anytime
have you guys
come
on anytime you want to come on. We'd love to have you guys. So
Yeah, let's do it. Well, next
you
week.
should get TW on, man. TW's got a real interesting history, fandom, and really close to the team and players through the years and stuff. So
yeah, we got to do that then.
Part of the team.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure.
Definitely.
We'll do that. But appreciate you jumping on. Go Who's. I know we didn't get a win today, but next time we'll get them.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on.
Jack and Jay, Jeff.
We will.
Absolutely.
See y'all. Have a great evening.
Later, man. Go Who's.
Go Who's.